Hello all and welcome, and I am the Realist Philosopher, and in this video I would like to talk about the Gillette advertisement that was released recently. So, I'm sure most of you have heard about this advertisement, unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple weeks. It's essentially the advertisement that Gillette recently released, where they're attacking men and masculinity and branding men as toxic and bad, essentially attacking their customer base, which isn't too bright. And I have specifically held off watching it for two reasons. One, because I wanted to wait until I did a video on it, and I knew I had to do a video on it. And two, it looked pretty cringeworthy to me. I mean, it didn't look like something I would want to watch unless I was going to comment on it. But to be honest, I didn't really want to watch it. The way that it was attacking men was just very off-putting to me. And normally I wouldn't subject myself to that unless I absolutely had to. So I have tried to put off watching it as long as possible. But now it's time for me to comment on it. And I'm going to be watching it for the very first time with you, my audience. So, oh boy, I'm already very hesitant just looking at this intro picture. Oh boy. Isn't this that guy that was in that crappy movie, The Dark Tower, that was based on the Stephen King books, which were far better than the movie? He did a good job, by the way, in the movie, acting-wise, but the movie itself was crap. It's hard to condense that many books into just one movie without it being a terrible, terrible film, which it was. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we? Oh, boy.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get?
What the fuck?
Is it?
Freak.
We can't hide from it. It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
What?
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to
As opposed to the worst?
men accountable.
What?
Come on.
To say the right thing. The right way. Some already are.
What? What is this crap?
And small. But some is not enough.
What?
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
Alright, my head's about ready to fucking explode! Fuck me! It's even worse than I thought. And the only way you could watch that and believe that it was somehow a good message that said positive things about men is to employ a large amount of cognitive dissonance, right? There's so much on rap here that I can't just comment on it all in just one long monologue. I gotta watch this again and go point by point. Wow. That was just... Oh my God. Oh, that was horrific! Horrific! Wow. Boy, men are really hated, huh? Feminists really hate us. They really, really, really hate men. All right, so we start off here. Man with a beard. Goatee, actually. Yeah. Okay. He's standing there. He's thinking. He's questioning. Do I want to keep the beard? Do I want to keep the goatee? Do I want to keep this symbol of toxic masculinity? Or do I just want to shave it all off? Or do I want to reinforce this symbol of toxic masculinity by shaving the rest of my face and making this goatee ever stronger with ever more outlined borders to it and lines and making it an even more powerful symbol of toxic masculinity? Yes, I have to think about whether or not I want to shave this off or keep this symbol of horrific evil maleness. See, that is clearly the message. He's looking in the mirror, and he's asking himself, Do I want to stay a toxically evil man, or do I want to shave it all off and become a good man? It's clear that's what he's thinking. The level of thoughtfulness, the level of introspection, as he views his beard, which is clearly the focus of his introspection, is obvious. And with the tone and tenor of this video, he's clearly considering whether or not he wants to keep it because it's a symbol of evil, toxic masculinity, and he should just get rid of it, right? Even though it grows quite naturally, and it's part of who I am, but it's a social construction. Okay.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity. Is this the best a man can get?
They're talking about the pictures of those men, okay? This guy, right? This young man, and this older man, and this other guy. Is this the best a man can do? Is this the best a man can be? All right? So these pictures of these men are quite clearly pictures of how men used to be. Evil, too masculine, toxically masculine, not sensitive enough to the wants and needs of women. Right? Because that's our whole purpose in being here, right? Is to serve women, to be sensitive to their needs, to be here to protect them. Well, they brand us toxic and evil. Oh, lovely. So, yes, are these the best men can be? Now, when they say get, they mean become, right? So this video is clearly showing a series of men who are being introspective about their masculinity and considering whether or not they have become good enough to be considered, quote-unquote, good men by Wayman. Because, of course, it's up to Wayman to decide what a good man is and not a man, right? It's interesting how we don't get to make that same assessment of women, huh? You're not a woman. You can't talk about women's issues. But I can talk about men's issues, and men specifically. That's a nice double standard you got there, ladies. So, what's this? We get a young boy breaking through an image of a man, potentially a toxic man, and he's breaking through, he's breaking out and fleeing from the old, traditional, toxic, masculine stereotype that's chasing him, which seem to be a bunch of bullies going after him, and they are a representation of what he just broke through. But in the flesh, active, animated, chasing after him to catch him and destroy him. The new male, the new man, the better version of men. Yes.
Is it?
Freak. So what they're doing here now is showing that men who are toxically masculine are trying to destroy this new, better version, this more sensitive version, by calling him a freak and bullying him and chasing him and beating him up and beating him down and trying to make him conform to that toxic stereotype. Yes. The boy that'll just hug mommy because there's no daddy, right? We gotta go to mommy when we want to express our feelings and get reassurance and affection because daddy don't do that. And here comes a boy charging into his own house. Seems to be being chased by bullies. I've never had that happen. Bullies don't generally follow you home and then follow you into your house as you're still running from them. So he's coming in. He's charging away from these bullies, right? Well, you got this namby-pamby boy standing there saying how the toxically masculine boys who don't want to change, who don't want to become what they should be, which is a feminized version of a man who is neither man nor woman, right? And they're calling me a loser. They all hate me because I don't want to be toxically masculine like them, and they call me a sissy because I'm in touch with my feelings. Oh, and here comes my brother, and he's being chased by those very same bullies who ostracize me and who insult me and bully me because they're really threatened by my wokeness, by my embracing of my inner self and my feelings.
Can't hide from it.
Yeah, you can't hide from it, right? These toxically masculine men are everywhere. and they're trying to make you stay toxically masculine. But don't you let them. Don't you let them make you stay a toxic male. Have the courage, have the balls to break out of that image.
It's been going on far too long.
Uh-huh. Yes, it's been going on far too long. Boys have been exposed to this image of men that isn't really real. An image where men are grabbing the asses of black women, which, by the way, isn't that interesting? That was clearly like a 1950s household. How many men, white men in the 1950s, were married to black women? Not too many. In fact, wasn't it illegal in some parts of the country? Oh, but hey, let's ignore historical facts and let's just push our virtue signaling social justice warrior crap. Yeah, this is what masculinity, the toxic masculinity, makes men do. Wolf whistle and cat call. By the way, women don't really mind being catcalled and wolf whistled so long as the guy doing it is really, really good looking. But apparently less and less men are good enough looking to make women feel good about being wolf whistled and catcalled. So, yeah, it's harassment and toxic masculinity.
I can't laugh at all.
Oh, yeah, because, is that the maid? That's the maid, is it? Okay, I see. Is that what she is? She got the little frilly material there around the cuffs and the collar, so I guess that's the maid, right? So a lot of, I see. So not only is toxic masculinity something that makes men degenerates and perverts who maul women wherever they see them, but it also enforces oppression, right? White man, black woman serving him, and he's oppressing her. So toxic masculinity also makes men racial oppressors. It's very interesting. Yeah, and we all just laugh and go along with it, right? Which is horrible, which is evil. That needs to stop. We need to move beyond this and become more enlightened beings and embrace a new, better way of being. We need to become the best man we can be. We need to be the best we can get, right? Because it's all a social construct, don't you know? Everything is just a creation. No, there's no way of acting, no way of being that can be traced back to our biology. Oh no! All a construct, right?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
So I see. He's condescending to her there. So a little bit of mansplaining. And he's also having the nerve to mansplain to everybody else. And the implication is because she's a woman.
In the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
Yes, dozens of men, hundreds of men, an infinity of men, all standing around saying the same thing because we're all programmed, right? All of us men are just programmed to act this way, say this very same thing. It couldn't be that boys just will be boys, right? That's how boys are? No, couldn't be that. Oh, no.
But something finally changed.
What? What? Anna Kasparian? Isn't this the broad that said the Armenian genocide didn't happen? This the broad that's on that crappy Young Turk show? Oh my God, she's a man-hating feminist with a horrible nose job, by the way. Oh my God. Whoever made this video, I know who made this video. We'll talk about that after it's done. But wow, what a bad idea to put her on there. So clearly, those things started to change when Wayman like Anna rose to prominence, right? And became successful in the arena of work and professional careers. Yes, now things have started to change, and we men have to change with the times, right?
Regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
And there will be no going back.
So now we've got that whole audience of men and women who were watching that sitcom before of the white man sexually assault his maybe maid, maybe wife, I don't know. Before they were laughing, before they were just going along and doing what was expected of them, right? What they'd been programmed to do without even thinking about it. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that's right. That's correct. And now that same audience is sitting there thoughtfully. They're not laughing anymore. They're taking things very seriously as they view this eye-opening collage of successful, powerful career women. It's very interesting. You're very successful and very powerful, but the main way you became that successful and continue to gain such success and prominence is simply to complain. Meanwhile, men don't do that. They just raise to prominence and high levels of professional success through their merit. Okay. But yeah, they're all sitting there so thoughtful and serious now that they're being shown the truth. Ooh.
Because we believe in the best in men.
So now, cut to an image of these young men who clearly have no facial hair. Because that's toxically masculine, right? Facial hair is a representation of toxic men, right? It's exclusive to men. It's very interesting to me, by the way. Women talk about things that only they have to deal with, such as periods. We need tampons, because only women have to deal with this problem. They should be free for us. Really? Well, men only have to deal with the problem of facial hair. Why shouldn't razors be free for us? Oh, no, don't be silly. So you had the scene before, starting with guy from Dark Tower, and then three other guys, all contemplating their toxic masculinity in the mirror. Then, cut to this scene, which is reminiscent of that first one, but they're not contemplative anymore. They're not contemplative about toxic masculinity. Their toxic masculinity is gone. They have decided to become the good men who will do away with all of that evil toxic masculinity that those men who had been contemplative in those prior scenes before had embraced and were thinking about doing away with. Well, these young men, these virtuous young men, they've decided to be better, to do better. Yes, they're far more virtuous than those old men that came before.
We need to hold other men accountable.
No, we don't. Wait, so that's lovely. Do we hear Wayman saying the same thing about other Waymen? We need to hold other women accountable for when they act badly, for when they accuse men of rape when the men haven't done it, when women make false rape accusations, false sexual assault allegations. We need to hold other women accountable. Where's the commercial doing that? Where's the commercial saying that? No such commercial. And the implication being that men are far more toxic, far more evil. They commit wrongdoings at a far higher rate than the women, right? Yes. And it's up to us men to police other men. We all need to become good pet white knights, following around the Wayman on a leash and protecting the Wayman and policing other men. Yeah, because I want to devote my entire life not to pursuing my own wants, my own needs, my own ambitions. No, I want to spend my whole life worrying about whether or not women are safe, right? And whether or not other men are doing what they're supposed to be doing. By the way, who decides what men are supposed to be doing anyway? I thought all this stuff was a social construct and that everything was relative and everything was open to interpretation. And I thought that morality was relative. If that's the case, how can you come to any objective standard about how men should be acting in the first place? But anyway, let's continue.
Smile, Sweety. Come on.
To say the right.
Whoa, wait, what? There was something wrong with that? Ah, yes. Expecting women to smile and be happy all the time. That's wrong, right? Because in the past, women were just accoutrements to the man, right? They were trophies. They were there to look nice and be pretty and be something to show off and make him look better. Smile, do what I expect you to do, which is to be a woman, right? Who's simply there to fulfill my wishes and whims and make me happy. Oh, no, how dare you say Sweety to me and ask me to smile? That's you perpetuating toxic masculinity and stereotypical gender norms that a girl should always be happy.
Thing. To act the right way.
Oh, yeah, because, saying Sweety to a chick and expecting her to smile. Oh, no, don't expect that. She's a real person. She's not just there to do what you want her to do. Whoa, wait, what's not cool? The person that made this advertisement is a feminist. Not cool, man. Not cool. Don't you dare walk up to a woman on the street and introduce yourself and say hello to her and try to get her digits, meaning her number. Oh, that is so toxically masculine. Meanwhile, how are you going to meet women? How are you going to meet women? You can't meet them at work anymore. Oh no! There's professional standards in the workplace. We cannot have fraternization between men and women here. You can't even hug or anything, or you'll get fired, right? And hell, you don't have to do anything wrong. A woman can just misinterpret something you say, or a look or a glance, and boom, you're in trouble with human resources. How are you going to meet them? Now there's some kind of problem, some kind of issue with seeing a hot-looking chick on the street and walking up to her and saying hello? Really? Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, that's toxic masculinity, all right. Boy, if that's toxic masculinity, how are they going to meet? In gender studies classes? Of course, that's what women want, right? They want all the men growing up now to take gender studies and all these silly classes that promote this kind of crap so that they know they're getting a real good simp, right? A real good cuck beta boy who'll do what they want and worship the poon. Meanwhile, the entire time, they'll be dreaming about a real man, the men that used to approach me when I was younger, but now that's become taboo because it's been portrayed as toxic masculinity by that fucking Gillette ad. And now men are towing the line and doing what that Gillette ad told them is good and what makes a good man. Okay.
Some already are. In ways big and small.
Okay, so cut to the prior image here, right? This is the boy who charged through the movie screen and was being chased by those toxically masculine evil men who saw him as a sissy, as a freak, because he was acting like a good beta cuck soy boy white knight male. And they felt threatened by that. How dare you try to keep him in line and make him be a real man. Oh, I'm sorry, a toxic man, right? Yes, because there's nothing about men that requires them to be strong, right? We don't guard the borders. We don't walk the walls with a rifle, right? Guarding against that enemy in the night that might come and slit your throats while you're sleeping. No, it's not necessary that we stay strong and have the potential to be fearless, or at the very least the potential to act even in the presence of fear. Oh no. None of those things are a requirement for men, right? Because the world is so easy now. The world is so decadent, right? There's no threats out there. There's no monsters. Men don't have to be strong and in control of their emotions. No, they should let their emotions control them. And these horrible, evil, masculine men chasing this wonderful boy who wants to be as he should be, well, they're evil and they're wrong and they need to fall by the wayside. And this boy who's running away, who's being as he should, in the eyes of Wayman anyway, who haven't really thought about it clearly, well, he needs to be the new stereotypical male. The new construct. It's very interesting. So, if everything's a construct, who's deciding what's the good construct and the bad construct, right? Why, Wayman, of course. And the wussy boy here who's running away, but who has embraced his emotions and acts like a woman, he's the good male. And those that are trying to stop him, corral him, get him to act as they feel he should, they're the evil ones, right? They're promoting patriarchy. Yes. Yes, we need to make peace with each other. No fighting. Don't fight. Just shake hands, right? Because there'll never be a time in life when you have to actually fight, right? Never, ever as a man are you going to actually have to resort to aggression or violence. And if you do, you're just a toxic male, right? Oh, wait, look, there's some guys with turbans and big long beards invading our country. What do? We'll just shake hands with them and make peace. Your head just got blown off. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Notice that it's also our job now to empower women, right? So throughout this video, the underlying theme has been that men have been bad, men have been evil in the past, largely due to ignorance, not understanding how harmful that was to both themselves and the women that they share this world with. But now, men are becoming better, largely due to what is obviously them embracing more feminine norms of behavior, even though it's all a social construct, right? Which is also very interesting to me. If the female traits and stereotypical behaviors are the most desirable and best, why didn't men adopt those whenever they made this shit up, right? If all of this is some kind of social construct, why would men choose the behaviors? Then why would men choose to adopt behaviors, codify behaviors as explicitly male if those behaviors were in some way anathema to them or harmful to them? Wouldn't you think that if there was a patriarchy and they were creating these so-called stereotypical gender roles that they would have chosen the types of behavioral norms that would be best for them and not worse for them? Well, no need to think about things that deeply. No, it might disprove all this bullshit. But now men have reached a point where they realize it's their job to steward women. It's their job to protect women. It's their job to mentor women and encourage them to be stronger too, right? Which would imply that men are inherently stronger than Wayman to begin with, right? Oh no, we've held women down, right? We've held women down for all these centuries, and now it's our job to raise them up to the heights that they have the potential to reach because we've held them down for so long, right? So what this is saying here is that women have been held down by men, and now it's men's job to raise them up and correct the wrongs that we have done. Yes, because women will never reach their true potential. Yes, because women will never reach their true potential without the help of men, because the help of men is required to undo the evils that men have done. Yes, you held us down, men. You oppressed us. Now it's up to you, because you've done that, to reverse it and lift us up, even though we're strong and independent and don't need your help. Okay, interesting. Oh, that's very interesting. This takes me back to my childhood, by the way. This picture here of these two kids fighting. I had two cousins that, I don't know how close they were, but I remember that we went to a gathering at their parents' house one weekend. And there were like 35, 40 people there. And in the middle of this room of like 40 people, they just immediately started fighting. Just out of the blue, they were at each other, and before you knew it, they were on the ground wrestling. And they were wrestling for like an hour. Red-faced, both of them jockeying for position, one trying to dominate the other. And I remember at one point saying to their father, you want to do something? Should you do something? They're fighting. He's like, nah, let them get it out of their system. Let them get it out of their system. Nobody did anything. And eventually they got tired. I don't think one gained any dominance over the other. And I think today they're successful, not toxically masculine wife beaters, by the way. Two successful guys. They both have families. No problems, no issues. Oh, but this is a problem regardless of whether or not a couple exceptions can be found. Yes, because in the majority of cases, this is going to make men more toxically masculine, reinforce their aggressive tendencies, and they might be more likely to hit Wayman, right? Because violence against Wayman is such a huge problem, even though men are many times more likely to be victims of violent crime. Okay. All right, yeah, this is bad, right? Yeah, we can't have anything teaching men how to use and channel their masculinity, or, God forbid, develop it, because there'll never be a time when they need to use that, right?
But some is not enough.
Oh, yeah, you need to intervene. You need to intervene, right? Oh, yeah, you need to be a hero. You need to protect other men, right? You need to protect other men, encourage other men to become more feminine and less toxically masculine. You need to learn to solve your problems in a different way, a better way. Don't just turn a blind eye. You need to actually get in there and intervene when other men are wrongheadedly trying to enforce the patriarchy on their fellow men. That's not how we treat each other. Yeah, I beg to differ. That's not how we treat each other, huh? Yeah. Why don't you go take a look at the rest of the world, pal? 5% of the world population lives in America, right? Okay? Even if you were able to make this the norm, the typical norm in America, which you can't because it goes against all biology, right? You can try to deny reality, deny biology as much as you want, but humans are aggressive. Many are psychopathic, sociopathic. Many are monsters, both men and women. And that's just reality, and you're not going to change that. But hey, let's try to implement that on a nationwide scale and demasculinize our men and remove every single trait that is prominent among so-called toxically masculine men. Let's get rid of all that. Well, you'd still have the reality that the other 95% of the world isn't like you and doesn't try to adhere to these kind of standards. How are you going to guard yourself against them? Oh, we don't need to think about that.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
It's gotten ever younger, you notice. From the first set of pictures, from the older black man with the toxically masculine goatee was thinking about shaving off and essentially getting rid of his toxic masculinity. They've gotten ever younger, right? Yes! Out of the mouths of babes, the little children will lead us, right? It's our job as older, toxically masculine men who have wrongheadedly enforced this toxic masculinity to wake up and become enlightened, just as those men at the beginning of the video were doing. And to deliver that message to these young men who are watching right now. Yes, it's our job to deconstruct patriarchy. And destroy the stereotype of manhood that is really toxic to men. Very interesting. And who, by the way, created this advertisement? A man full of self-hate? No, it was a Wayman, of course. Didn't you figure that out? So here's the creator of this video's Twitter page, and notice there's no picture. I believe there was a picture before the Gillette advertisement was released, but since it got so much backlash, so much negative backlash, no picture anymore. She didn't want anybody to know what she looks like. Big shock. Right, yeah, the best a man can get. So she's in Boston, Massachusetts. So, you, as a toxic male, and you are toxic if you have any of the traits outlined in this video that are representative of the old dinosaur that is the toxic male, if you have any of these traits, you need to change. You need to be introspective. You need to think about the younger generation and how your adherence to toxically masculine gender norms that are nothing more than a construct affect and damage the youth and stop them from being able to be the best man they can be, or as Gillette says, the best a man can get, which is this little boy who couldn't grow a facial hair if he tried. Interesting. And who was the author, the genius behind this advertisement? Why, a radical feminist, of course. So from the American Thinker, surprise, genius behind man-hating Gillette ad is a radical feminist. In recent days, many online essays have rightly ripped apart Gillette's ugly new We Believe advertisement. One online critic dubbed it feel-bad liberalism. Well, if you don't have the cognitive skills or the critical thinking abilities or are not red-pilled enough to see through their bullshit, watching it probably would make you feel bad as a man. So, carpentered by gray advertising for Procter & Gamble's Razors Company, it does not detail product attributes, encourage brand loyalty, instill warm feelings in buyers, or even show basic respect for its customers. That's for goddamn sure. Oh no! Instead, the grimly lecturing spot declares masculinity itself toxic and a peril to decent society. Yes, we all need to change and become the correct type of masculinity, the idea of which itself is nothing more than a construct. And that's the only construct, really, is the one they're trying to push on you. Is this the best a man can get? Is it? Asks the painfully serious narrator as a wrongdoing slideshow passes by. We can't hide from it. It's been going on for far too long. We can't laugh it off, making the same old excuses. Yes, that's what men have been doing, isn't it? Yeah, just laughing it off, the bad behavior of men. It's just boys being boys. I guess the guy at the ad agency missed the lesson about not taking a dump on the people you want to buy your stuff, cracked comedian Steven Crowder. Well, this is what I've been saying for a very long time. What you need to understand is that ever more corporations are being peopled with social justice warrior feminist types. These people already run the human resources departments of these various corporations and companies, and these people see it as their job, nay, their duty, to hire people who adhere to their same ideological view of the world, meaning fellow feminists and increasingly intersectional feminists. The guy at the ad agency is actually philosophically unpleasant feminist Kim Gehrig. Hiring her to court the male market is like expecting to accrue impressive rainbow flag sale numbers with spiels from Farrakhan. Who hates gays, right? Oh, yeah, that makes no sense, does it? But what Kim was trying to do was not sell razors. What she was seeking to do was to use her advertising agency to push a narrative. That's what they see their job as. These people are kind of like religious zealots, like the missionaries of old in the Christian church, except they're even more so. Because while missionaries would take months, even years out of their life, and it would be their life's avocation to travel around the world spreading the word of Christianity, these people are sort of like chameleons. They pretend to be professionals who have mastered a profession, mastered a skill, who are serious about a particular job or career, but they're just chameleons. They're pretending so that they can get into a position of authority and power which will allow them to push their ideology. And what's really scary is that Gillette signed off on this, which tells me that ever more people in Gillette are quote-unquote woke. And you know what they're saying about being woke, right? Get woke, go broke. Because the people who have money to spend, they by and large don't believe in this bullshit. The people who believe in this bullshit are social justice warrior feminists. And those people generally don't have jobs and live in mommy and daddy's basements, okay? A lot of students, a lot of dumb young people who don't have very much earning potential. The people who have really have moolah to spend, they got moolah to spend because they have half a brain. And they see right through this crap. So Jezebel reported an email message Gehrig sent CNBC. At the end of the day, sparking conversation is what matters. No, you're an advertising agency. Your job is to push a product and sell a product, to make it more attractive to the customer base that, generally speaking, buys that product. This gets people to pay attention to the topic. There you go, right there. Selling a product is not a topic. It's not your job as a marketer, as somebody trying to help a company sell more of their product, to deliver a topic or an ideology or a message that you want them to think about. It's your job to sell the shit and encourages them to consider taking action to make a difference. Do you see what I mean? She's not trying to help the company sell more, obviously, because they're going to lose a boatload of money. That's great. That's lovely. You pay somebody to help you sell a product more, and what do? They tank your fucking business. They tank your numbers and instead make it so that you sell less. Wonderful. I would demand my money back if I was Gillette. But then again, they did sign off on this crap, right? So, Sheed, meaning Gehrig, previously made the bizarre Viva la Vulva spot for Swedish feminine hygiene company Labris. In that surreal ad, objects that included a conch shell, sliced orange, papaya, and coin purse stood in as eras femal intimate pots for the ad's nearly 3-minute duration. These items were manipulated as unnatural singers of Camille Yarborough's Teikyo praise. It's bizarre. What a bizarre ad. But at least it had something to do with the product being sold. Feminine hygiene products, feminine parts, at least there's some kind of correlation there. Anyhow, Gehrig's new Gillette effort states her bias boldly by intercutting allusions to abusive acts with images of romantic heterosexuality. A black and white cartoon scene that flashes past shows men whistling at a woman. In another scant bit, a guy sees a pretty female pedestrian. He steps after her but is restrained by a companion. Not cool, the restrainer admonishes. Expressions of attraction and related pursuits are natural. They lead to humans reproducing, which is how Gehrig got here, though she might be horrified to learn that. Yeah, but she's a feminist, you see, and probably an ugly feminist at that men want nothing to do with. So, of course, she wants to discourage other people from getting together because she's miserable and you have to be miserable too. Adweek pronounced Gehrig's group liable the ad of the week. Gehrig's efforts were also recognized by the best ads on TV. Other people who are completely out of touch with reality and the average everyday person. Therein lies an issue worth note. Fox News host Greg Gutfield tweeted, The only ones lauding the Gillette ad work in media and advertising. Everyone else sees it for what it is, a smarmy, condescending virtue signal aimed at the hard-working, decent men they have been price gouging for years. Yeah, razors are insanely expensive. I mean, if you were to know the markup, it's like 1,000. It's in the thousands of percent. It's really ridiculous. At this writing, Gillette's YouTube posting of We Believe has received 40,000 thumbs down. Wow. And only 4,300 positive ratings. Even when possible manipulations have been allowed for, the ratio does not bode well for the company. Yeah. 10-to-1 disapproval. So the article goes on to say that Gillette executives may have hoped their brand would realize market uplift from public mind association with trending messaging. That may also have once been the wish of suits at Dodge, the NFL, Target, Lynx, Nike, Pepsi, Cola, and Dick's Sporting Goods. They all suffered as a consequence of catering to PC prejudices. What these big corporations don't understand, that just because you've got a lot of people screaming and there's not too many people popping up to offer counter arguments or say they're wrong, that doesn't mean that those people screaming represent a majority. See, this is a fallacy that a lot of people make. It's similar to an ad populum fallacy where you believe that just because a majority of people believe things, that it must be true. This is similar in that Gillette is clearly making the mistake of believing that a majority of people believe or support this kind of PC nonsense because the majority of people who they hear are spouting PC nonsense. Did you idiots stop to think that maybe the craziest people are the loudest? I guess they never heard the saying about how the craziest person in the room rules the room, but that doesn't mean everybody in the room is fucking crazy. The majority of Americans don't feel this way, Gillette, and the majority of them are smart enough to see the anti-male messaging in this advertisement. The greatest ultimate harm caused by Gehrig's Gillette advertising maliciousness may be this. Irresponsible, woke parents, right, because the majority of the advertisement was pandering to older people who shave, who have money, who have, in the past, or still do, support or have supported toxic masculinity and are now being lectured to about the best way they can deconstruct that harmful, evil stereotype of the toxic male that harms their young boys if it is pushed upon them. So it's your job as an older male to change them and make them the right kind of male, whatever the hell that might be, right? The way that they were portraying a man should be. Weak, pathetic, ballless, spineless, a jellyfish. Yes, that's how a man should be, right? Yes. So yeah, the greatest ultimate harm caused by her advertising maliciousness may be this. Irresponsible, woke parents bludgeoning their young sons with her message that just being a boy is unhealthy, a wrong for which they should forever hang their heads. It's kind of like the idea of original sin, right? Like, oh, human beings are born sinful creatures. You didn't have to do anything wrong. Just starting off, you are evil. You're flawed. You're put together wrong. You're not as you should be. No, you have some original sin in you that you need to spend your whole life making up for. Be it your own past actions, or if you're a young man who's done nothing wrong to date, then to make up for the wrongdoings of men in the past. Essentially, you not only have responsibility for whatever bad actions you might have taken, which are quite a few if you measure bad acts by just being interested in women, but you also have to make up for the bad, the wrong, the horrible acts of others. Essentially, a job that would extend into infinity, which is exactly what feminists want. Guilt trip men enough and they will hang their heads in shame and acquiesce to the judgment of women and women's wants and needs and view of how men should be forever. So what did you think of this advertisement made by Miss Gehrig? An advertisement that promotes the idea of toxic masculinity and tells men that they can be better by supporting and mentoring women and not being toxic men anymore. Let me know in the comments of this video. And please like and subscribe to my YouTube channels. You will find links to those in the description of this podcast. And if you'd like to support my work, please consider donating by visiting therealistphilosopher.com/donate. That's therealistphilosopher.com/donate. And that's it. I am the realist philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.